Okay, in this session we'll work on SAP print forms. We'll start some introduction on SAP print forms or print layouts. So what are the use of these print layouts? These are used to generate print outputs. What do you mean by print output? So when we generate any application data or application transactions in SAP, sometimes we need print outputs. Like for example, sales order. If you need to have a sales order printout, usually we take, right, we'll have sales orders, invoice, billing. These printouts we have, right, in general, not only specific to SAP. Whenever you purchase something, right, they'll generate one invoice, right, or bill. How that bill looks like? It's in a proper format, right, like this. It will be in a proper format, right? For example, if you take this as that print output, that bill output. So here you'll have some logo, company logo or something. Here you'll have address data, and then here you have customer details, and here your transactions, whatever the purchases you made, all of them, and some grand total or something. What else we have? Terms and conditions or written policy or anything. We'll print terms and conditions here, and we'll print transactions here. So we design that bill will be designed in a proper format, right? Where we need to print the logo, where we need to print the address, where we need to print the customer details, right? So that is already designed in that specific
Yes,
area.
sir.
Those data will be print, right? Take any print output, right? For example, take your education documents. They're all designed in a proper format, right? Where we need to print university logo, where we need to print student marks details, right? Where we need to print signature panel. Everything is designed in a proper format, right? In that specific area, the data will be populated to take the print output, right? So by in the SAP print layouts or SAP print forms, we design then these print layouts for different data, right? Invoice, bill, sorry, invoice, sales orders, purchase order output, right? So here we have two types of print layouts we have. One is creating our own custom layouts, creating our own custom forms, or using existing standard forms. SAP provided lot of standard print layouts for most of the business process like sales orders, purchase orders, invoice. For all these, SAP have already provided standard print layouts, right? But in the most of the cases, we don't use, no, like customer is not going to use the standard print layouts. They'll have their own format, right? Every customer will have their own format. So we need to design new layouts, right, to meet the customer requirement. Or sometimes what we do,
Sir, your voice is not audible, sir.
Sir, your voice is not audible, sir.
okay, sorry, 1 second. So by using these SAP print layouts, we develop either custom layouts, completely custom developments, or we modify standard layouts provided by SAP to meet the customer requirement. Creating custom layout, that is straightforward. Create our own layouts as per our requirement. How about modifying the standard layouts? Simple. We copy standard layouts into custom layouts. We don't do any changes in the standard layout. Okay. What we do? We copy the standard layouts into custom layouts, and we do the changes for custom layouts, right? We copy standard into custom, and do the changes for that custom layout and configure. Instead of standard layout, we are going to call the custom layout. That's what changing the standard layout means. We are not going to change anything in the standard one. Okay. So we just copy that into one custom layout and we do the changes. Here. And there are different types of print layouts available in SAP. First one, SAP scripts. Second one, Smartforms. Third one, Adobe Forms. Scripts, Smartforms, and Adobe Forms. These three are the different tools or techniques available to develop the print layouts. Okay, to develop the print layouts. Scripts are very old concept. It's almost outdated. No one is using scripts in new projects, but there are very few projects where scripts are still being used, but no one is recommending to develop the scripts. Okay, you don't need to worry about scripts anymore. Next one is smart forms, right? To develop the smart forms, we have a separate transaction code, that is a smart form. Smart forms is the transaction code. For Adobe form, the T code is SFP. SFP is the transaction code to develop the Adobe forms. Adobe forms are advanced than smart forms because Adobe forms develop PDF output directly. PDF output directly. Smart forms cannot generate PDF output, but Adobe forms can generate PDF output, and Adobe forms are also interactive. So once the output is generated, you can do some, you can enter some data or you can do some changes. So you might have observed this whenever you are filling some application forms, you might have seen these PDF forms where we can enter the data, right? So these are interactive Adobe forms. Those we called as interactive Adobe forms. So let's start create a simple smart form and call the smart form in the program. How to call the how to develop a smart form and how to call that smart form in the program, we'll see today. So what is the transaction code to design the smart form?
Smartforms.
why I'm every time I'm typing from not form. FORM, I think yes, Smartforms. So Smartforms is the transaction code. SMARTFORMS. Smartforms is the transaction code to develop or to access the Smartforms, which are the print layouts which are developed in Smartforms. So in these days, like even Smartforms are outdated. So in these days, everyone is preferring which one? Adobe Forms. But there are still many projects which are using Adobe Forms, mostly support projects which are already developed. So we need to have some knowledge on Smartforms to work on those support issues. But if you need to develop a new print layout, we have to go for Adobe Forms. Everyone is preferring Adobe Forms. Okay. Here you can see form. Develop a sample smart form. Z demo sample form. Create smart form. Here observe each option. First one, observe each option in smart forms. In global settings, what you can see, form attributes. In form attributes, what you can see here, who created it, when it is created, who last changed it. Okay. Here, observe language option, language translation option. So do we need language translation or not? Because if you take one company, if you take any MNC that might be operating in many countries, right? And each country has its own native language, right? In this case, to print this print output in English language, French, German, do you need to develop multiple smart forms in each language? So without developing different form for each language, what do we use? Language translation option. Language translation option. So we can automatically translate, right, this form into the required language automatically. So do we need to enable that option or not? So we need to select that attribute here. Okay. For now I am selecting do not, right? Into selected languages, if you select this, you need to provide those languages which you want to translate. Only those selected languages which you want to translate. Okay. So here into all languages, it will enable for the all languages. And go to output options. This is very important. In form attributes, output options, what do we select? Page format. Page format. What is this page format? DAN A4 means A4 A4 size. What is your print layout size? Is it A4, A3, A5? Right? You need to select a relevant option. Letter, right? Depends on your selection. Height and width of the form will be selected. Okay. For now I am selecting A4, right? And you can also select the spacing, characters per inch, space option. How many characters you want to print per each inch? You want more gaps between each letter, you can increase this size. Okay. This is paragraph spacing, right? What is the space you want between one line and the other line? Okay. And there are print outputs. We have three different print outputs: standard outputs, XSF output, and XSF with HTML. First, we'll see standard output. Mostly, we don't use these two options, right? So first, we need to understand standard option. So in form attributes, we select the page format and character spacing. Okay, character spacing. Is everyone clear about form attributes? Now
Yes, sir.
check the next option. Form interface. Form interface. How many of you know function modules?
Yes, sir.
If you know how to define importing, exporting parameters, tables parameters of the function module, if you know how to call a function module in the program, 50% of the smart forms you're already aware of it. Okay. Only thing you need to know is designing part of smart form here. The code, the ABAP code what we write, the same ABAP code what we have created till now, and the how to call a smart form. It will generate a function module. We call that function module in our program. Only thing you need to know is designing that layout in a proper format. Okay. Form interface. What you can see here in form interface. Observe this: import,
Import,
export,
export.
tables, and exceptions.
And exceptions.
Is it not similar to function module? In
Yes, sir.
function module also we have import, export, tables, and exceptions, right? So what is import? Which
Inputs.
accepts
Input parameter.
input. Which accepts input. Import parameter will accept the input. What is export? Will return the output. Will
Output.
return will return some
Okay.
values as output. What is tables?
Some internal table or
Yeah, to
work area.
pass internal table data as input or to return internal table data as output. We use tables parameter. If you want to print any tabular data in Smartforms, you need to pass the internal table data, right? So that data we can pass through tables, or what is the alternative? Use a table type. In the
Table
import
type.
parameters, use a table type and pass that internal table data as input. Exceptions, define the exceptions to raise any errors. Is everyone clear? If you need to pass any inputs, the data whatever you want to print in the smart form, that input can be passed through import parameter. Okay, whatever the data we need to print. For example, let me say, let me print define some parameter im underscore maktx or makt type makt. So I'll just print some material name and material text, material ID and material text. For that I am defining this one. So instead of defining the using the complete table, what is the alternative we have? If we need to use only specific data, create a structure with required fields. Okay, create a structure with required fields and use that structure. Okay, to print the data. Clear? These are all the standard import parameters where we can set the print parameters, print output options. Okay, so we use these standard parameters to set the print output settings, printer settings. Okay, to define the printer settings, we use these standard parameters mostly. These user settings are output options. Next one, global definitions. What is this global definitions? We use these global definitions to define any work areas or internal table like structures locally in the Smartform. Locally in the Smartform, right? So this in this global data, you can define variables, structures or internal table like structures. In types, you can implement type structures. You can write type structures here and use those type structures to define global data like global internal table or work area like structures using this type structures. Types means nothing but types begin off end off, you know, right? Types begin off ty underscore, for example, Mara, Matner, type, Matner. What are the other fields? We have mtart, material type, type, same data element, I think, end of ty underscore Mara. Okay. Now go to global data. Use the type structures to define the ls data, type. What is the associated type? ty underscore Mara. Like this, you can define global declarations. These global declarations can be used in form level. Okay. What is the difference between form interface and global definitions? In form interface, we pass the data from the program. Whatever the data we want to print, we'll pass that from the program. But what about global definitions? These are local to the Smartform. We define these internal tables and work area like structures within the Smartform, right? In types, you can define type structures, field symbols. So field symbol is kind of similar to working with internal tables and work areas. We'll see that when we are working on object-oriented concepts, we'll see field symbols. In code initialization, what you can do here, you can write your code like select statements, function calls, whatever you want to do, you can write here. What is the input? If you want to pass any input, like for example, for the where condition, you need to define that input here. For example, what is the importing parameter we have? IM MAKT, right? So this is the input, and what is the output? We can use some global declaration, ls underscore Mara. This is the output, right? And here we can write the code select star from MAKT. So you can write the select statement or something, and you can populate this output parameter with some data. Okay, and you can use this output parameter in your program. And observe this currency and quantity fields. So whenever you have currency and quantity fields in your structure, that might be importing parameter structure, in the form interface importing parameter structure, or in the global declaration structure, you need to define a reference field here. For example, netwr and a reference field here. You need to maintain that corresponding reference field. Okay. Field name nothing but like this. IM underscore MAKT hyphen netwr, and you need to provide the reference field here. Whatever the reference field for this netwr, you need to provide this, and you need to select the corresponding type. Is it currency type or quantity type? You need to select that. Okay. So when we have currency and quantity fields, you need to define the reference unit here. right? So in initialization, you can write your ABAP logic, custom code, right? So, but the recommended approach is keep all your business logic in the program level. Don't write any complex business logic inside Smartforms initialization. Okay, it will impact the performance of the Smartform. So whatever the business logic you have, keep that in the program level and pass that data as importing parameters to the form. Okay. Any small calculations or simple logic you can implement in initialization part. Okay, clear?
Sir.
Now, whenever you create a smart form, it will automatically generate one page, and you can see this is called main window. It's very important concepts to understand different types of windows in smart forms. So it will automatically generate one window. What is a window? Let's see our this basic example. Window nothing but we divide that form area into different windows, like the area to print something. For logo, we maintain one window. For address, we maintain one window. For customer details, we maintain one window. For transactions, we maintain one window, right? So depends on the requirement, we maintain different windows. And in smart forms, we have four different types of windows. Four different types of windows. So what are the different types of windows? Main window, secondary window, copies window, fourth is final window. So these are the four different types of windows. So when we use main window, for which type of data we use a main window? If you observe the data, so the property of main window is it will automatically expand. It will automatically expand, depends on the data. If there are more records, it will automatically populate data into second page, third page, fourth page, depends on the data. So main window will automatically expand, depends on the data. What about secondary window? Secondary window is the fixed width window. Fixed window. So if you want to print some data at the specific place and the data is always constant, right? We can use a secondary window, right? For example, customer ID, customer name. If you want to print only in this specific area, so you can use secondary window for the details. For the transactions, what type of window is suitable?
Main window.
Secondary
Main
window or main
window.
window? Main window, right? Because we
Yes.
no one knows how many transactions that customer might do, right? He might do only one transaction, he might purchase only one item, or he might purchase 100 items, right? So depends on his purchase transactions. So it might The print layout might print only one page or multiple pages, right? So the data should be automatically expand to the next page, right? Depends on the data what we are passing. So for that we use a main window. The secondary window is fixed width window. For logos, address details, this kind of data we use a main window. For also for terms and conditions. Terms and conditions also most of the times it is same, right? Fixed until unless there is some changes in future. For that also we can use a secondary window. For signature panel, for this also we can use a secondary window. Next, what is the other window we have? Copies window, right? Copies window. What is the use of this copies window? Sometimes you might observe when we are generating the print outputs, the same output we generate with the multiple copies. With the same output we generate with the multiple copies. For example, one copy we mark it as a customer copy, and another copy we mark it as a vendor's copy or seller's copy, or we'll create one more copy for some other department. We mention that department here, copy for that specific department, and there will be one original copy. There will be one original printout, and we generate multiple copies to notify or to send the same print output to the different departments. At the time, what type of window we use to generate multiple copies of the print output? Same output will generate multiple copies, and we mention that which one is original, which one is a copy. For that, what type of window we use? Copies window. Copies window, right? Copy to department 1, department 2, department 3. Like that, we use this copies window to generate multiple copies. Sorry. And final window. So final window is a special window. It will execute whatever the data, whatever the logic, whatever the elements you kept inside the final window will execute after completing all the processing of the smartphone. After completing all the processing of the smartphones. For example, to print some grand totals of the transactions, right? So these kind of calculations where we do in final window level, we do that. Once all the data is populated, then we need to do something. So those kind of things we do in a final window. So it is kind of a secondary window. It is also fixed width. It's also fixed width window. So when this final window will execute, at the end of the form processing after executing all the other windows logic. So this final window will execute. Okay. Is everyone clear on this? Main window, secondary window, copies window, and final window. It's very important interview question as well. What are the different types of windows in Smartforms? Now let's go to the Smartform. One page is automatically created. You can change the page name if you want. Demo page, or you can change the page name as well. It will automatically generate some names, but depends on your project naming conventions. You have to change these names and description. Okay. It is automatically generated one main window. So there is one difference in scripts, right? This main window is mandatory, but in Smartforms, this main window is not mandatory. It is optional. You can have main window or not. That's up to your requirement. If you need to print any continuous text, which should automatically expand to the next page, then we need to use a main window. But if you don't have that requirement to print continuous text, whatever the data you're printing is fixed, then you don't need to use main window. You can create a secondary window. Right click on the page, create window, and select the type of the window here, what type of window you want. For example, select secondary window, provide the window name. For example, I am creating this window for logo, to print the logo, to print the logo. Okay. So how to design the form? As of now, we don't see any designer, right? Like this, how to design form in like this. Here you can see form painter, option. Click on this form painter. It will display the designer option. Form painter, you can design now this. Select it, drag it, drag it where you want to place the logo, where you want to place the logo on the page. You can drag and drop, right? This is main window. This is main window which is automatically create. You can adjust length and width of the main window. Length and width of the main window. So you can just drag and drop whatever the where you want to place this main window, and you can adjust the width, right? So double click on the window. This is form painter. In form painter you can design this layout. You can see these attributes, window attributes. Check these window attributes. So you can select the window type. In output options, you can select margins, margins for this window. How you want to print the data inside this window. What is the margin? What is the color? What is the color you want to use inside this window? Do you want to have any frame? Right? You can select all these options here. Observe conditions. What is this conditions? Sometimes, sometimes we don't want to print some data when specific condition is failed, right? We don't want to print any data. At that time, how can you do that? How can you hide the data which is printing in a specific window? Using this condition. For example, if I am Matner equal to some 100, then only I want to print the data. Then I need to add condition like this. Matner equal to 100, then print it. Or I don't want to print when this material number is not equal to 100. Select the operator not equal to. Okay. So you can add the conditions here. You can print the data in the form on by using specific conditions. Okay. Clear? For main window also you can add these conditions, right? Now, how to design the logo, how to display the logo. To display the logo, there is one prerequisite. There is one prerequisite to display the logo. That is, first we need to develop the logo and we need to upload that logo in one transaction code. That is SC78. What is the transaction code to access the logo? SC78. So first the logo should be uploaded to this transaction code SC78. So if you open SC78, you can see here bitmap images. You can check already existing logos. So you don't need to upload every time. It's a one-time activity. Someone will already upload all these logos to SC78 so that you can use those logos in the Smartforms, right? Let's check what are the existing logos. Select bitmap images, double click on the bitmap images. You want to see black and white images or color images. Let's say I want to use color images. Let's see what are the existing bitmap images. You can also use some name to search the existing images. So these are all the existing images, right? For example, check this, click on one logo and select print preview. Not be found. I think it's color image, color bitmap. It's not working, it seems. Let's try another logo. Print preview. So this is logo. This is one logo already available in SC78, right? So you can use this logo here in Smartforms to print the report. That logo here. How to create your own logo? How to create your own logo, or how to upload your own logo? Usually, you don't need to create. Someone will provide you the logo of their client or the customer. You need to upload that logo to the SC78. Maybe let me design one simple bitmap image. Let's assume this is a logo. I'll save it as a bitmap image, BMP image, somewhere in the desktop. Okay. So now I have the logo. How to create the logo? Go to SC78, creating your own logo or a new company logo. Go to SC78, click on import. Why the import option is not working? Let me check. Hmm. So double click on the bitmap image, double click on the bitmap image, then click on import, or go to graphic and click on import. Double click on the bitmap image and import, click on import. Select your image which is saved in your system, logo. Provide some name, for example, my logo. You don't need to use Z. starting letter as Z for this. So is it color bitmap or black and white? Color bitmap, select, continue, allow. It will upload your logo, right? Your logo is uploaded to SC78. Click on print preview, it will display your logo. Or if you want to find your logo again, go to here, search for that logos, all the logos. I think this one, right? My logo. So you can find your logos here. So this is your logo, right? Now, how to print logo in Smartform? Our logo is ready in SC78. Now go to that window, right click on the window, create a graphic. What you need to create for logos? Graphic. You need to create graphic. For example, logo window. Go to general attributes. Here you need to what you need to provide here? Name, logo name. What is the name of the logo? Object. What type of logo it is? Bitmap image, right? Graphics, bmap. ID.
Yes.
Select the ID, bmap. Color bitmap image. It's a color bitmap image. You can adjust the resolution using this option, DPI option, right? Dots per inch. Depends on this, your logo resolution will be set. Output options. Again, it's about margins, right? Frame, shading, and everything. Condition. Sometimes we need to print different logos. Depends on the condition, right? In that case, we use these conditions, right? If material equal to 100, print this logo. Otherwise, create one more logo, and if material equal to 200, print the other logo, right? We can conditionally print logos by using these conditions. For that, you need to create multiple graphics here, and you need to add separate conditions for each logo. Okay. So we have added our logo. Let's test the smart form first. Let's test the smart form. Or I'll add some page header. I'll add some page header also. For that, I'll create one more secondary window. Observe here, I'm selecting it as secondary window. Title, I'm naming it as title, right? And again, same output options and conditions we have. In this window, I want to print some text, right? Here as title. Let me first adjust uh, where I want to print the title. Here in middle, I want to print this title. Expand the width. Within this window, right click, create text. Create text. Hello. When you create text, right click. When you create text, right, you can make use of text elements here. You can print the text. You have two types of editors here. This is MS Word based editor. You can type your text here in the MS Word based editor. So let me print. Let me type something. Demo form. Okay. So I want to print this as demo form. Save the form. Use some package to save your form. I don't know whether this is available or not. Looks like this is all deleted. Now I am creating, for now we'll create in the local object. So still we need to develop the smart form. First, let's test how the current design is working. Save it, activate it. ls mara is unknown. In global declarations, ls mara is unknown. Okay, I think it is ls data, not ls mara. I'm using ls. It is not required actually. I just added it. ls data. Check the form, activate the form. How to test this form? You can execute this form, right? You can, to test it, you can execute this. What you can observe this? What you can observe here? When you are trying to execute the smart form, what it
Functional
is
module.
actually executing? Function module. So it's generated a function module for the smart form. A function module will be automatically generated for each smart form. Even it is same for Adobe Forms as well. Okay, a function module will be generated for each smart form. We need to call the function module to generate the print output. Okay, we need to call this function module to generate the print output, and we need to pass all import parameters to pass the data. Okay, execute this function module, execute the function module. So you can see all import parameters, pass some data. Anyway, we are not using any data here. Execute. Here, select the output device, usually printer, in which printer you want to print this. But since we don't have any printer configurations, we have some local printers, that is LP, LP01, and print preview. We're not printing, but just check print preview. If you see, the logo is printing here and the title is printing here, and we can adjust the size, right? We can adjust the font size. You can increase the font size if you want, and you can also increase and decrease the logo size using resolution option. Okay, so the logo is printing here, and we are printing some static text, right? Static text as title. Go back to form. Now, if you want to print any fixed data, fixed text, you can just type here, create a text and type here. It will print as it is. It will print as it is. But how about dynamic text? How about dynamic text? If you want to print any data dynamically, depends on the inputs. Whatever we are passing from the program, we need to print that out data, not the constant data, right? How can we design that? For that, I'll create one more window. For example, I'll print the material data. Whatever the material input we are passing, we need to print that. Select it as secondary window. Select it as secondary window. I'll create one text here. Create text. And you need to adjust this window, right? For example, this window, I'll keep it here. Or maybe I'll create this text in the main window. Right click, create text. It's very important. Please observe how to print a dynamic text, which is coming from the program or from global data, right? Material number. So this is fixed. Material number, this text is fixed, but here, whatever the material number we need to print, that is dynamic, right? So this label, this is label, right? But here the value should be dynamic. Whatever the value we are passing from the program, we should print here, right? For that, we need to use one special symbol. First, go to text editor. sorry, not text editor. Go back and we need to use insert symbol option. You have this, right? Insert field. Okay, select this option because we need to print whatever the data we are passing from the program, not the same data every time, right? So we need to use this option, insert field. What is the field you want to insert? I've already defined an importing parameter. Enclose that importing parameter in this im underscore mat hyphen matner and close it. Continue. You can see it is highlighted, right? It is highlighted in a different. So this is dynamic data which is coming from the program. It will automatically print that value. Next, material text. Again same. Insert field. Insert. Right? Like this you need to print that dynamic data. So what is this IMMAKT? I think there is, it is wrong. We need to change it. Okay. What is this IMMAKT? The importing parameter what we defined here. In form interface, we defined one importing parameter, right? Here. That structure fields we are passing here. Or if you want to use any global data, you can also use this global data to print any output. You need to also insert this global data as a separate field. Okay, like this. For example, material 2 and insert symbol ls hyphen matner and close it. Okay, so you can print importing parameters as well as global declarations here using insert symbol option. Okay, these are single inputs, single field data, right? So to print tabular data, we have a different concept. We need to create the table. We'll see that in the next session, how to print tabular data. So activate the form, save the form. And maybe we'll add one more window for terms and conditions. We'll place terms and conditions at the end, some sample terms and conditions at the end. So after main window, I'll create one more window, page, create window. I'll name this window as terms, terms and conditions. Here I'll create text. Okay, let me copy some sample data, paste it here. Okay, some sample terms and conditions. Go back. So save it, save the terms and conditions and activate the form. Now, let's say our form is ready. Now call this smart form. How to generate this print output? We can use a driver program. We need to use a driver program. Driver program is nothing but report program. Whatever the report programs you created till now, we need to use same program to trigger or to generate the smart form print output. It's nothing new. Okay, same report program we need to use. We call that since we are using smart forms, we call that program as a driver program. Okay, driver program to print the smart form. Okay, let's create a program. C38 zdemo create executable program, save it in a local package. Initialization at selection screen, start of selection, end of selection. And now write some logic, select single star from MAKT into MAKT. I'm not passing any where condition. This is not recommended, right? This is not recommended to use select single without a where condition and without a primary key, but just end if and call the smart form. How to call the smart form? Using its function module. This is the function module. Call the function module here, but this is not the actual process. We need to have one more additional step to call the function module. We'll see that in the next session. So these are all optional. In exporting parameter, these are all optional. So only thing is you need to pass your importing parameter, and this importing parameter should be compatible with the data what we are passing from the program, right? So this LSMAKT and this IMMAKT should be both compatible. What is the type of this LSMAKT? Check MAKT, right? The complete table reference. Here also we are selecting the complete table record, right? So both are compatible. So I'm passing that. Enable the exceptions. Activate the program. Execute. It is displaying this print preview screen. Print preview. So this is your form. You've added terms and conditions, right? I think we did not adjust this. Its terms and conditions are printing here. Let's adjust the form. Let's keep terms and conditions at the end. Expand this. Activate the form. Go back. Go to the program again. Execute the program. Provide the output device, print preview. So here it is printing terms and conditions. Here it is printing the title, logo, and the data. So this is coming from the program, right? Dynamic data SM00001. This is coming from the program as importing parameter. Since we are not using any global data logic, it is not populating. Okay. But we should not call function module directly in the driver program like this. We should not directly call the Smartform function module in the driver program because there is one dependency. When you transport this to test system, in test system it will generate a different function module name for the Smartform because it will use some sequence numbers to generate the function module names. So when you transport it to test system, it will generate a different number, different name. So if you call like this, right? If you call this direct function module name, it's going to throw runtime errors. Okay. So for that, we need to use one more additional step. We have a special function module for that. SSF function module. First, we need to call that, and then we need to call the Smartform function module. That we'll see in the next session, right? So whenever you create a Smartform, it will generate one function module. You need to call that function module, and you need to pass the importing parameters and other print parameters if required. And importing parameters are optional, right? If you want to pass print any dynamic data, we define importing parameters, otherwise not. Okay, this is how we create the custom smart form, right? What about standard smart forms? There are a lot of standard smart forms available for sales orders, purchase orders, invoice. If you want to do any changes to the standard one, what you need to do? You need to copy. You need to copy the, let me find any standard smart form. If you want to find any smart forms, if you know like any a name, you can find it. Let me find with this keyword. I think there should be a purchase order smart form with this name, or let me use F4. There is some invoice form. So display, this is the standard form, right? This is the standard form. You can see all different windows here in the form layout. So if you want to do any minor adjustments or if you want to do any changes to this form, can you directly do it? No, you cannot change it. Copy this into custom form. Provide any Z, SD invoice like that. Copy this and do your changes. Okay, that's how you change the standard forms. Okay, we cannot directly change it. And we'll see we have output configurations also. We'll see that in the next session.